I'd like to introduce Jean from Scotland, who's going to share her daughter Jenny's story. Jenny has multiple sclerosis. Thank you for joining me, Jean.
Okay, hello.
Could you tell me when Jenny first noticed MS symptoms? How old was she?
She would be about 22, 23.
Mm-hmm.
And it was first found out, really, first of all, by her optician, who realized that she had optical neuritis and sent her then on to an eye hospital, and they confirmed that. And they, in themselves, thought that she should be seen by a neurologist. So she was seen by a neurologist, who then said that she should have an MRI scan and the spinal puncture.
Mm-hmm.
So at that, quite a few months later, we got the results, which did confirm MS.
Okay. And how did her MS advance from there?
Well, it was all right. She was able to walk, etc. Legs and arms were fine. She gradually began using a stick because she found that she was tripping over things, and she thought the stick gave her a better balance.
Okay.
And from there on, with quite a few years at that, I would say maybe around about 8-9 years later, that she started using a Zimmer. And from there on in, she went on to a wheelchair occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say about 4 years or so ago, it was found that she had to use the wheelchair permanently.
Okay.
Her, the cognitive side wasn't really a problem at all. I would say really until about 3 to 4 years ago. And the speech was affected a little bit. The swallowing process began to be affected a little bit. And when I first, rather than heard about, I actually saw in a newspaper a little bit of information about the LDN. I thought I would take this further on her behalf and made inquiries, and finally went to a couple of conferences, and from there on she was seen by the doctor who prescribes LDN, and he thought that she was a suitable person to have the LDN, but of course would go through blood tests, etc., before he would actually prescribe it for her. Mm-hmm. So everything followed on from that, and she has been on LDN for about 2.5 years, and she also takes vitamin D3 and omega-3 fish oil with the LDN.
Mm-hmm. Did she notice any initial side effects, do you know?
No,
mm-hmm.
I can't say that there were any side effects.
Mm-hmm. And what improvements did she notice?
Well, I think I was conscious, and other members of the family were conscious, that I would say over just 2 to 3 years ago, the speech was getting slower, and again she had to think hard of how she was going to say her words. Mm. And she was conscious of the fact herself that her speech was slower and not coming out at a regular pace. Mm-hmm. So at that point I thought I would need to try and do something. And since there is nothing else really in the medical side or the drug side to help anyone who is at the secondary progressive stage, I moved in at that point.
Mm-hmm. And how is Jenny now?
Fine at the moment. She has, of course, she's in a wheelchair now all the time, and her legs don't work at all. She can't walk, but I'm getting her physio once a week to see if that will help keep any movement in her legs. She has, her legs are pulled right up, and I think the physio is helping just to relax the knee muscles and the foot muscles a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They say, of course, physio won't do everything completely, that's fine, but if it helps a little bit, I think as long as I can see my daughter's own movement in the legs and she is still able to move them a little bit by herself, then to me that is very helpful.
Mm-hmm. And what about her speech and cognitive
her speech and her cognitive side are excellent. They are excellent.
So would you say that's gone back to virtually how she was before?
Yes, I certainly would. Her thinking process is very good, and she can discuss different things with me as I talk to her about different daily things and what comes up in the news, etc. And
Mm-hmm.
she can make her own comments on that. So, yes, I think she has.
Oh, that's very good. And what would you say to other parents who've got a child with a terrible condition about LDN?
Well, certainly I would say try it. I would definitely say try it. I realise that MS is particular to every person who suffers from it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say to try something like this, which from my daughter's point of view has not had any side effects, and since it does start off at a very low quantity,